But I will guarantee you, if I could read the Quran in its original classical Arabic, in which I am dependent on translations, and I am dependent on scholars much more educated than myself to explain it in Tasfir. But I am intelligent and I am smart enough and I do know enough to know it does not say Christians, Muslims, and Jews are all people of the book. That is not how it's said in the Sabians, okay? Because this Christianity shit, this came after Nebi Isa was gone. And whether or not he was ever gone or not, that's a whole nother matter. Allah knows best, because he did not die. He never died. And we don't know if after Allah took Nebi Isa up in a whole state, if he's here somewhere else now all this time, or if he's been kept safe and protected in a whole another separate realm, and will be coming back. But he is going to make his reappearance and his re-emergence, which is also referred to as the second coming of the true Messiah, the true son of Miriam. They call him Yeshua in the Hebrew dialect, Isa in the Arabic. His name is not Jesus. Jesus is a name he never in his life heard. It's a name he wouldn't know. If you seen him on the street, and you're gonna look like a fool standing there. Hey Jesus, hey Jesus, Jesus. He's gonna keep walking. He's not even gonna turn his head, because that's not his fucking name, and it never fucking was. You're worshiping Lucifer, you fucking Luciferians. That's what Luciferianism is. You Saturnian Luciferians. Those of you who are born with the right DNA, who are allowed to butt fuck your way to the top of the pyramid when you get there, they'll tell you that. So, anyways, back to what's happening. These Muslims, from what I gather, are doing the same thing that they should have been doing decades ago, and it's the same thing that Sheikh Imran Hussein of Trinidad, who I love and respect so much, has been telling people for several years they need to be doing. Buying a piece of land or property, building their own homes for their own Muslim community, becoming self-sufficient with their own gardens, their own rainwater collecting systems. They need to be having chickens. They need to be having goats. They need to be having sheeps. They need to be raising their livestock. They need to be raising gardens. They need to have a water filtration system, and they need to be having homes in communities and neighborhoods of their own. And for the Muslim people who are persecuted here in America, if you don't conform, if you don't pull up your skirt, if you don't bend over, if you don't interact with the heathen, you will be persecuted. And so that's exactly what they are doing. And guess what? They're being persecuted. And now they are writing new laws. They're writing federal laws against this, as the people are in the process of doing it. And they either are in the process of deciding, or they already have decided to charge this Muslim leader and or other Muslims with him with federal crimes. And they are saying it is illegal for them to offer housing to Muslims only, in spite of the fact that this is property they are buying with their own hands, built with their own money, and building homes with their own money for themselves. No, they're telling them that they have to accept non-Muslim heathens, transvestites, pink-faced Satans, greasy-ass rappers, whores. They have to accept anybody and everybody who hates Muslims and hates Islam, which is the persecution that and the lifestyle they're trying to escape, that, or they're going to federal prison. So I need the international. I don't need. Okay, because to be real honest, to be honest, I don't really care about these people any more than these Muslims ever cared about me. Okay? As far as I'm concerned, they're getting what they deserve. Shoe is on the other foot now. It's like I said, they don't care about human trafficking, kidnapping, trafficking, murder, terrorism, until it's them and their families. And, October 7th was the wake-up call. And, but they're still careful. They're still real careful what they say, but I am seeing them come out, and I don't listen to much of it because I'm really uninterested. So, like I said, it's decades too late. There's a lot of respect is lost and can never be gained back. But I'm seeing a lot of YouTube headlines and stuff as I scroll about not spending your money with non-Muslim businesses, not spending your money with haram businesses, not going into businesses that also sell alcohol to spend your money on. And the government is basically coming up with federal laws, to prosecute people for spreading these messages as they are trying to spread the message. And this is religious discrimination. It is religious persecution. And God is going to destroy them. And if the international Muslim communities do not get involved and come to the aid in the defense of these Muslims in America, who are now years and decades too late trying to save and preserve themselves, then nobody else is gonna, because the other American Muslims are not going to stand up and defend them. They're too coward, and they have too much to lose of their own American dream that they have invested their lives in establishing. So, for anybody who's, any international Muslims who are interested in doing the right thing, I think these Muslims in America need your help right now. And it's not my job to help them, just like it wasn't their job to help me. I'm busy trying to save my own life that they didn't give a fuck about. My own life that was sacrificed nearly because of them, okay? And in the kidnapping, trafficking, murdering, terrorist operations, that they are the contracted operatives and federal rats in. So, now the shoe's on the other foot. Okay, that's how God works. Anyways, back to what I was saying about the smoking. So when I was into my healing process, and I was did the whole elimination process and introducing foods back one food group at a time, I had realized that there was this white fungal in nature coating on my tongue. And I was about 3 years into not having solid stools. And everything else in my life had really been adjusted and removed and purified. And these were the two things that I still couldn't figure out. And I said, it's the cigarettes. It's America's weaponized cancer sticks that are weaponized with over 400 heavy metal neurotoxic chemicals, including Agent Orange, which is the fungal coating on the tongue. It's a herbicide. It's Agent Orange, glyphosate, in which I know I don't pronounce that right. It's the same main active ingredient that is in Roundup, in which there is a huge ongoing, years-long mass class action lawsuit because of all the people that are either dead or dying now because of cancer and lymphoma from the Agent Orange and Roundup. That is killing their pets, that is killing the birds, it is killing the insects, it is killing everything that lives. That was what the white bungle coating on my tongue was, and that was why I did not have solid stools, because of that um, chemical weapon of fungicide, Agent Orange, the same chemical chemical and biowarfare they used to commit a great act of genocide in Vietnam. It's now in the American food, for the same reason, everything for the same reason that mustard gas became chemotherapy, the $100,000 for cancer after World War II. They had a huge overabundance of mustard gas left over that they didn't want to waste, so they had to think of a purpose for it. So guess what? The cancer treatment was discovered in the form of chemotherapy, mustard gas treatments at $100,000 a pop. It's the same reason Agent Orange ended up in everything. Okay, they had such a huge abundance of Agent Orange chemical biowarfare that they didn't want to waste it. So, well, now it's in all of America's food supply, and it's in America's weaponized cancer sticks, which I don't smoke. Okay, I buy loose pipe tobacco and untreated, and I make my own smoking products. And I don't have those problems. What they don't want you to know, and the reason why they weaponized tobacco in America's conventional cigarettes have over 400 heavy metal neurotoxins, including Agent Orange in them, is because tobacco and nicotine are highly medicinal properties. Tobacco is a nightshade vegetable, and it has an alkaloid called nicotine, just like tomatoes, potatoes, peppers, eggplants, all other nightshade vegetables that they do not tell you to avoid. Okay, and alkaloids, particularly tobacco, is pathogenic destroying. It destroys pathogens on impact. And the reason it is in nightshade plants is as part of the plant's immune system. It is a self-defense mechanism that is part of their immune system that destroys harmful pathogens on impact. And the medicinal properties of tobacco are immune system stimulating. They are neurological system stimulating. They fire up nerve signaling to the brain, and the pharmaceutical industry is using tobacco themselves to manufacture pharmaceutical drugs for Alzheimer's patients, and people with memory deficits, and people whose immune system is weak and needs stimulated, and they do not want people being able to get their hands on that medicine in its true organic raw form otherwise, and using it themselves. So they weaponize the whole supply that is available to the public, while they pharmaceuticalize any medicinal properties that they are using in medical science and pharmaceutical research as the medicine that it is, after they weaponize it and do other things to it, because it's not really about healing. It's just about treating the symptom just enough so that you think they're getting a result, while at the same time the pharmaceutical drugs destroy your other organs, and then they have to give you another drug for that, and then another drug for that, and then 3 more drugs for the numerous side effects that it causes, which are usually the same symptoms of the illness that you're taking it for. Okay. That's called allopathic medicine. Rothschild allopathic medicine. Well, let me tell you something. Rothschild doesn't know anything. John D. Rothschild, who manufactured the American allopathic medical industry, as well as the American educational curricular system. Okay, he knew absolutely nothing about medicine or the human body. He was a witch, a sorcerer, a black magician who knows about witchcraft. And that's what pharmaceutical means. It comes from the root word pharmika of the Greek language that means sorcery. And that is what the pharmaceutical industry is. They're black magicians of the highly, highly secret cult society, the Society of the Serpent. Look it up. That is why their symbolism is the serpent and the staff. And John D. Rockefeller had absolutely no formal medical education or training. And, and this kind of goes into the Salem witch trials, which was previous to, I believe it was 1810 or 1810, I think. The Flexner Report. Look up the Flexner Report of the 1800s, okay? That's what this whole allopathic system of medical buckery and witchcraft and sorcery in America is based on, the Flexner Report. Look that up. It's mind-blowing. Okay, well, they killed off all the real healers. They did to them what they do to me. And that is what the Salem witch trials were about. It was people like me, in which my name just happens to be Salem, imagine that. Okay, it was not, they weren't burning actual witches and sorcerers and black magicians. Okay, they were burning people like me, the real healers of this earth. Those of us who had the God-given gift of knowing, and have been given special abilities and gifts, and gifts of, including gifts of higher knowledge and intellect and understanding, and those of us who Allah has given knowledge and wisdom of the human body, and the medicinal elements of the earth and how to use them, and along with the intellect to study and research and follow the examples of the prophets, and those are the people like me who were burned in the Salem witch trials. Okay, the same reason why the original chiropractors had to go underground, and they had to practice in isolation and secrecy, or they were jailed and they were murdered, they were burned, they were assassinated, until until they infiltrated the practice of chiropractic, and they reduced it down to slip and falls and back injuries, car accidents, falling down the stairs, things like that, while at the same time they discredit and call them quack. Well, what they did was they made the chiropractic industry, they made it a branch of Freemasonry. And now, in order to be a chiropractor, okay, you have to be a Freemason. Okay, it's a whole secret society cult of its own. And they reduce it down to slip and falls, car accidents, back pain. Okay, they do not even teach today's chiropractor about stimulating higher innate intelligence, because that is what the practice of chiropractic actually is. Okay, and it is a lifestyle. It is a lifestyle practice and science behind it. And what it does is you can open up and reach higher in it intelligence. And that is what they don't want. And that is why it is controlled and regulated. Like Dr. What is her name? Beltran. What is her first name? I can't think of her first name. I think it's Tanya. I could be wrong. Beltran at the Total Health Fitness over there. I I told her that. She didn't even know. She had no idea, no clue. I told her they don't teach you that in chiropractic school anymore. They don't teach you about reaching higher innate intelligence. And she said, no. I said, well, look it up and do your own research because it's absolutely fascinating. And she said, oh, I will. But they don't, according to her, they don't even teach the chiropractors that anymore. I guess if you are among those who are initiated into the higher levels of the mystery school that it is, the Masonic mystery school that it is, those people probably get that higher knowledge of um, stimulating and opening up higher into innate intelligence with chiropractic. But just your average Joe Blow chiropractor, these young 30 and 40 something bimbos who went to chiropractic school and then they got a job working in one of America's commercialized corporate healthcare facilities like Total Health. Okay, they don't want them. They don't want people like that to know. So, okay, that's where and that's another thing when they send these role players, these female role players, to target Muslims like me in hijab, and they come walking up. This is what they do. They literally walk up to me on the bus stop and stuff like that when I'm sitting there having a cigarette, and they'll say, how can you be a Muslim when you're committing a sin right now and sitting and smoke? And I'll look at them and I'll say, excuse me, who the fuck are you and what are you babbling about? Well, you're committing a sin right now. Isn't that against the Quran? And I'm looking at him like, are you talking to me? What are you talking about? What sitting here? Well, you're smoking a cigarette. Yeah, that's not a sin. Nowhere is there absolutely anything mentioned about smoking tobacco whatsoever in the Quran, the Sunnah, or the Hadith. As a matter of fact, my Imam, His Eminence, Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran, okay, who is the leader and the Imam of millions of Muslims worldwide, okay, he smokes tobacco. And that's because he knows the same things that I know. And, some people in the Sunni schools, like Wahhabis and Salafis, Hanbalis and Hanafis, now they will say it's my crew. Okay, they can't say it's a sin. They can't say it's haram because it's not, and it is absolutely nowhere in the teachings whatsoever said to be. But they will say it's makruh, which means, it's not encouraged. And the reason why is because of their own brainwashing and programming. They say, well, because, you're wasting money, which that's a sin. And it's damaging to your health, and it's a sin to damage your health. And they're right, that is true. That's why you don't smoke America's conventional cancer sticks. You get organic, untreated pipe tobacco, or you grow your own tobacco and you make your own smoking products, and you use it as the highly beneficial plant medicine that God gave us that it is. Okay? But, The programming runs deep, folks. It runs real deep. Just like people who use the English translation of the Quran to keep insisting that Muslims, Jews, and Christians, that we're all people of the book. I'm sorry, don't even put me in the same sentence with these human crucifying, human flesh eating, human blood drinking, child butt fucking, cannibal Judeo Christians of the West. Don't even go there. Don't even don't don't talk to me about focusing on similarities with such a disgusting, despicable heathen species. Don't even. Don't even. You know, that is why it is very, very important to learn to read the scriptures in their original, unchanged, translated languages, including the biblical scriptures, all books, including all of the books that the heathen Christians have of Rome, the pagan polytheist Judeo-Christians who are today's Rome, have taken out of the Bible, deleted, changed all the names, including Nebi Muhammad, who they have translated right out of the Bible. The biblical books, I should say, because what is the Bible? Okay, something that they compiled together based on the books and the scriptures that they decided make the cut according to after their editing and their translating. Oh, the true scrolls, the true scriptures, and their original language, which I myself am not able to do, and I am dependent on translations, and I am dependent on people who can do it to explain with task to me. However, I know the import. I know this enough to where I am able to filter out the bullshit and take what serves me and what I know and believe is accurate, and discard what isn't. Okay? And I do know if you read the scriptures, including the Quran, in their true linguistics, okay, that is not what it says. Okay? That is not what it says. As a matter of fact, it says do not take these heathens as friends and allies, because they are not friends and allies to the believer. They are friends and allies of themselves, and that is true. And America's Muslims are beginning to find out what that means now. And I really do hope that Allah will protect these Muslims from these crimes that are being committed against them with this ignorant fool, Mayor Abbott or Governor Abbott or whatever his name is. I don't even know much about him because he's not important to me, but he's a fool. I know that much. He's a fool. He's an uneducated fool. He's an ignorant fool. Just like they had I saw a very, very brief clip of a black Muslim imam from Texas who's involved in this. I think he's the one they're trying to manufacture federal crimes against. And I believe it was on a clip on CNN. And he's right. He's exactly right. This fucking retard Abbott, whoever the hell he is, governor, mayor, whatever he is, there's nobody, nothing, Abbott of Texas, doesn't even know what fucking Sharia law is, and if they chopped off his own head, he wouldn't know what it is. Okay, just like the rest of these Americans who walk around spitting this shit out of their fucking mouth. It's like the ignorant fools that they are have absolutely no idea, no clue whatsoever to what the word even means. Okay? They're just a bunch of cult program, brainwashed, pasty pale white, pink faced Satans walking around spitting all kinds of ignorant shit out their fucking mouth, using big fucking words that they don't even know the fucking meaning of. God curse you all, you disgusting heathens. This is Global Missing Persons Alert, Interpol Yellow Notice number 21-22733.